Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to my autobiography, Chapter 4, Part 1. And this is going to be about martial arts. Yes, I have had a long background in martial arts. I have studied almost every style of martial arts you can think of. I have studied Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Cambodian, American. I have competed at a great many martial art tournaments. Mine say I've been around the block once or twice when it comes to martial arts. And I started in martial arts like most people do. They want to learn the grand art of self-defense. Of course, my reasons were probably a little bit different. I loved the beauty of the martial arts. I remember seeing certain TV shows, watching David Carradine in Kung Fu, watching the philosophy behind the masters in the temple. That really got my attention going in martial arts. It made me think. It made me want to become a different and better person. But at the time, it was extremely difficult for me to be involved in martial arts. My parents would not allow me to be in martial arts. They wouldn't allow me to go to karate schools. One time I saw a karate school in action through the window of our car when I was just a kid, and I fell in love with what I saw. Then I saw my very first martial arts demonstration when I was about 12 years old, and I knew this was something that I wanted to be part of. I fell in love with martial arts. But martial arts has changed. Much as martial arts has changed me, and anybody who's been in it as long as I have been, it should have changed you too. Hopefully you became a better person because of it. But martial arts, like everything else, has evolved. Cars have evolved, airplanes have evolved, they've all become better, and martial arts has evolved and become better. And even though all these accolades that I am so proud of, which we will get to in a different part of this autobiography, all these accolades that I am so proud of, these trophies and medals and certificates that I'm showing of years of martial art competition. My story is so deep behind my wanting to do martial arts and learning as many different styles as I could and competing in as many tournaments as I could. There was a very important reason for that, and I will say this, and we'll get to that in a different time, that I knew my time in martial arts physically would be limited. And we'll get to that at a different time. So martial arts has evolved. It's gone from basic punches and kicks and karate schools and advanced techniques in martial arts schools to, what we see today in the MMA and how it's presented on television. For instance, back in my day of learning martial arts, we showed ultimate respect for our opponents. Today, I don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of disrespect for the opponent, which gives certain styles, I'm not going to get into that right now, an advantage over the other style because the practitioner was not expecting that form of disrespect in the ring. Therefore, the guy got an easy win on him. Well, the attitude of martial arts has changed. The ego of martial arts has changed, and it's changed a lot of people. Few people are into it for just a year or two. They get some pretty high ranks, and they get a very, very high ego out of it. They get a very large ego. They believe that they are invincible. And I was there too for a while. I have that mentality of that nobody could beat me. And obviously that's not true. Yeah, these are nothing compared to some of the real, true champions, which brings me to a very, very good point. You may say, well, Hurricane, you weren't all that great as a martial artist, and congratulations on all the trophies and medals, but, you weren't that great. And you know what? You may say that about me. You can. But think about what you're saying about all the people that I competed against. I went up against some really, really great champions in my career. And if you're telling me that I was no good, well, then you're saying that they were no good. And if I was able to beat them, then you're saying that I was able to beat what? Some sloth off the street? That's not very accurate of a description. Now, I've been competing for a long time. If you take this medal over here, from the Hapkido Karate Association. This is from 1984, is how long I've been competing. And I've never competed at anything less than black belt division. Now, yes, some of you will say, yes, I saw you wearing a red belt and competing. Well, who was I competing against? Black belts. I was an anomaly in martial art. I went from tournament to tournament and from school to school and learned as much as I could. But again, my story is different because I knew my time physically in martial arts would be over shortly because I have some severe physical limitations that will be brought up in different chapters of the autobiography, excuse me. And I knew my time would be limited. I knew that physical limitations would take over eventually. But I am so proud to be where I got. Now, you won't see a lot about me on the internet when it comes to martial arts. I didn't have a whole lot of fanfare. Yes, second places too. Let me say it like this before we get out of this video and go into a different part of this chapter. Every one of these trophies was important to me, not just because it was a win, place, or show, but because that was somewhere that I never thought I could be. I never thought I would be in a position to be able to go to so many different martial art tournaments and compete against so many different great competitors. Say what you want about me, but I went up against some great competitors. And I won. I made myself a name in the circuit. Now, that name may not be well known in martial arts or in acting, but I did something with myself. I made something good for myself. I made myself a better person through martial arts. And I think you can do the same thing too. Anyway, we're going to sign off for right now. And we're going to come back and bring you more. Chapter 2 of the martial arts section, or part 2 of the martial arts chapter of my autobiography. Thank you for being here with me. And if you decide that you would like to like and subscribe, it's always appreciated. And I promise you, I will not be annoying you with constant videos. You'll get about one a week at best. Thank you for sharing time with me, and have a great day. Keep your spirits up. You can do it.